Hello guys, I'm Michaela and I've been wanting to share my story now for quite a while, but I have been very nervous about it because it is such a sensitive topic to speak about and it's a very personal thing to share. But I feel like if my story can help one person, then I know I did my part, and it would honestly mean so much to me if I can at least help one person. But this video is going to be very real and filled with emotions, so I just like to put that out there. This is my story and I would love for you guys to listen and maybe you guys can learn out of it. But yeah, so if I can give you guys a little bit of background on my story. November 2019, my mom, which is my absolute world and my best friend, got diagnosed with brain cancer, and just 3 weeks after that, my grandfather, who was my hero, my absolute hero, passed away suddenly. And with those two things happening in the span time of 3 weeks, it felt like my whole world was coming to an end. I was finishing grade 9. I was in the middle of November exams when I found out about my mom, and I was on school holiday, December holiday, when I found out about my grandfather. And it honestly broke me. I remember it felt like a piece of me left with my grandfather, and I was then living in the fear of losing my mom. And if you have ever lost someone, or you've had a family member that's been sick, I think you understand where I'm coming from, where you never know when is the day, how bad it is, when is the last moment memory you're gonna have with that person and share with that person. So my mom being my best friend, I was terrified because I just lost my grandfather and I have to worry about when I'm gonna lose my mom. So during that time, everything was a lot to deal with. For months, I didn't deal with any of it properly. I remember completely shutting my feelings off and being everyone's shoulder to cry on. I would be there for everyone else during the day, and when the night time came, and I would cry myself to sleep every night for months. It was horrible and no one knew because everyone had so much on their plates already. I didn't want to dish up more for them by speaking about my feelings. So eventually that bit me in the bum, and it caught up to me because I wasn't dealing with any of it, and it eventually got too much. And eventually it was this sadness that kept building up and up and up, and anything sad that would happen to me would trigger everything. The fear of losing my mom, missing my grandfather, and that all led to the thought of suicide. In the beginning, it was just the thought, like it's an option if it made sense, and I was getting scared of it, and no one knew, none of my friends, not my parents, absolutely no one. And in August 2020, I eventually said, I can't deal with this anymore, I need to speak to my parents. And I remember speaking to them, and I was absolutely terrified to open up to them because a lot of people react differently, and I've heard of a lot of my friends that have told their parents like they struggle with depression, like they want to see someone, and their parents have just said, no, you're not, depression's not a thing, or no, it's just a phase, you'll get over it, or so to me, I was absolutely terrified that my parents were just going to shut me down. But when I went to go speak to them, my parents broke down crying, and they wondered how they didn't see it, like how didn't they see the signs, or why didn't I come to them sooner, like they felt like they failed as parents. And the more I tried to explain to them that it was me, I hid it for so long, it has absolutely nothing to do with them. But I am coming to them because I do want to get help before it is too late, and they said they'll do anything to help me. And I have to say, I'm very, very grateful for my parents. Like, just thinking about it makes me so emotional. So they said, okay, my mom instantly started Googling therapists in our area. And okay, so after finding a therapist, I started therapy for about 2 months and I got better. And then my mom's cancer relapsed. And I went back to therapy. And then I got better. And then my mom's cancer relapsed again. And at this point, it was January 2021. School was about to start. And I remember there was one night where I was just over it. I couldn't. And I went downstairs looking for the gun. And my dad was still awake. And I said, no, I can't wait. I need to do this now. And I got on my balcony. And I wanted to jump, but before jumping, I remember saying, give me a reason or a sign not to do it. And not even 2 seconds later, my phone rang, and this special person was like, you haven't been on your phone in a while, why aren't you answering me? What is going on? I said, oh, sorry, I fell asleep. And I ended the call, and after that I locked up, and I realized, Michaela, that was your sign. That person phoning you was your sign not to do it and to stay. God sent this person to you. And I got back in bed and I phoned that person and I said, listen, this is what happened. And that person begged me to go speak to my parents right now at that very moment. And I said, I can't. It will literally break them. And eventually, after a month, I eventually did go speak to my parents again. And I said, listen, I think I need to go back to therapy. I obviously didn't tell them about what happened because I know it would break them, but I just said I need to go back to therapy, and they said, of course, anything. And I went back to therapy, and then my therapist said, you know what, we've tried therapy, I think we need to try therapy and antidepressants now. And I was on the antidepressants for about 4 weeks. And then one night, I simply couldn't anymore. And I remember feeling lost, broken, empty, pointless, worthless. I felt like a failure at that point in life because I couldn't get better. Couldn't. I say couldn't because if you don't want to get better, you're not going to get better. And that's something I realized after trying to take my own life. And on the 8th of March 2021, I took 27 pills. I wrote my letter goodbye, and I phoned my aunt when I started filling the pills, and I said, please, can you get here now? And up until today, I don't know if I phoned my aunt because I still wanted to live, or it was because I didn't want my mom to find me dead. And I remember my aunt rushing over, and when she walked into my room, she saw the empty pill boxes on my bed. And at this moment, I was still awake and alive, but I was drugged. I remember bits and pieces. And obviously, my parents have told me this story. And my aunt immediately ran downstairs and went and got my mom and said, don't get a fright, but Michaela just took a bunch of pills. And my mom came running in with my aunt, and they took me downstairs, and they walked me and guided me to the car. And my aunt was rushing with us to hospital, and my mom was sitting in the back with me with a bucket, and she was like, you need to vomit. And I said, I can't. And she's like, you need to vomit. And she was shouting at me. And I remember at that point I just started crying. And I was saying, I'm sorry, I love you, I'm sorry, because I didn't know if this was going to be the last time I see my mom. And the look on her face is something I'll never forget, and I can't even try to explain it. But it was like she was hurt. She was hurt, and she was disappointed and scared. And she was like, Michaela, you need to vomit. And sorry. And eventually got to hospital, and they were checking me, and then they immediately put me on a drip. And my mom phoned my dad, because my dad works away, and she was like, this is what happened. And I remember hearing my mom was on the phone with my dad, and I was like, can I please speak to dad? And I just heard my dad saying, I don't want to speak to her. And I was like, okay, well, tell dad I love him. Like, I didn't think much of it. I was so drugged out. And I was in hospital for 3 days, and it was honestly the worst experience ever. So after being discharged, I came home, and this was probably the most damaging, because I was constantly telling my friends and family, I'm going to do it again. You're not going to stop me. I don't want to be alive. And at that point, my friends and family, they were on suicide watch. And everyone was on my case, making sure I don't do anything. And I just wanted to be alone at that point. And I eventually saw that I am hurting everyone around me. I'm hurting the people that don't want to give up on me, even though I've given them a million reasons to. They never gave up on me when I wanted to give up on myself. And looking back, I was like, that's annoying. Now, I'm honestly so grateful. I really am. So a week after being discharged, we finally found a clinic that I liked, that my parents liked, that didn't look sketchy, that didn't look scary. Some of them look really scary. I just want to say that. And I was put on a waiting list, and I was 40th on the list. And a week later, they phoned and they said, okay, Michaela needs to be here in 2 days. So my mum and I flew down, and I said goodbye to everyone here. And I had to say goodbye to my mom, because I wasn't allowed visitors at all. And I was in the clinic, and I met my 2 doctors, my doctor and my therapist, and I started therapy every day. I went to classes at the clinic, and I made notes. I was like, okay, I'm doing this for the people I love the most. I need to get myself back for them, especially for my mom. And then my mentality started changing, and I was like, okay, I need to get better for myself. I need to deal with my issues. I need to get myself back, get that sparkle back. And it was hard. It was really hard. But I met some amazing, absolutely amazing people in the clinic. People that truly played such a big role in me getting better. And I just want to say, if it wasn't for Soulful Stream and my parents and my family and friends never giving up on me, I wouldn't be here. I probably would have eventually got it right. So after my 2 weeks there, I was ready to come home, but I was scared to face the big world again and face issues again and deal with reality again. And the big question was, am I going to carry what I learned at the clinic throughout the new issues in life? Am I going to be okay, or am I just going to relapse again like I always did? But I didn't. I kept pushing through, and I learned so much there, and I made notes, and I went to classes, and I continued with therapy with that same therapist, and I'm truly better. I've got better, and it was such a long process, but it was so worth it. And it wasn't easy. It was hard. It was really hard. But I'm so grateful to still be here today, and I'm so grateful no one gave up on me, because it motivated me to keep fighting and get myself back. And that's what I did. I got myself back, and I have truly never been better. So I just want to say that it is September and it is National Suicide Prevention Month. And I just want to say, if you're thinking of taking your life or you are struggling, please just keep on fighting. Don't do it. It's really not worth it. Rather speak up, get help. And if people ignore you, keep speaking, because eventually someone will listen and someone will care enough to help you. There are people out there that love you and care for you and can't imagine life without you. Please, it is not worth it. And you are strong. You just need to be strong and keep fighting. And I know it's easier said than done. I really know it's easier said than done. But I promise you, in the long run, it's gonna be worth it. This is my story, and if it can make a difference in your life, I know I did my part. Thank you.